Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the 2024 BMW X7. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW of Pleasant Grove, Utah for giving me some time with this X7. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this X7 and the rest of the inventory that they currently have. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Brian. And if you don't already know, the BMW Pleasant Grove does not charge markups on their cars, so if you want a great deal on a new BMW, reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 3-liter inline-six that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 375 horsepower and then 398 pound-feet of torque. Now, before I go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's actually pretty simplistic with the overall design. Of course, you got the BMW logo front and center, and then you guys can see we've got some like softer lines. Coming down below, we've got these split light designs. You guys can see the daytime running lights there at the top, and then the headlights down below. We do have parking sensors that I feel like are very nicely integrated here. And then of course, we've got BMW's larger kidney grille here in the center. And when you put it all together, I wasn't super sure about the new X7 when it came out, but now I'm actually a fan of the styling. It's grown on me. Coming around the side here, time wheel setup is 275, 40, 22 in the front, and then 315, 35, 22 in the rear. And then you guys can see with the wheels, they're completely blacked out. You also have the blacked out brake caliper as well, which just goes with the overall theme of this car. Body painted fender flares here, and then you guys can see this accent piece that kind of goes along the side. Notice the mirror caps are also blacked out as well as all of the window trim. And then here is your full side view with the BMW X7. So here's a quick look at the key fob. We've got the lock function, which also doubles as the remote start function. We have our unlock and then the opening here for the hatch, which we'll press that right now. And this is pretty cool. You guys can see I've got this button right here, which will actually lower down the suspension of the X7, but you can press this and that will open up the little tailgate here. One of my favorite BMW features. It's also on the X5. But looking over here, you guys can see here with the seat controls, these are basically to raise and lower the seats. Notice they've got like max passenger capacity and then max cargo capacity. I think that more automakers should add a function like that when it comes to their storage. Now, with the third row folded up, just like most SUVs in this segment, it's not like super spacious with the storage, but if you fold the third row down, it adds quite a bit. Now, when you're done, you can just press this button and it'll close the whole system together, and it's always kind of cool to see it. Clunk. Now, taking a look at the taillights, I think the new design is really cool. And then of course got the rest of our badges here on the back, parking sensors here at the bottom, and then look at the covers for the exhaust tips. Those look pretty crazy. Wrapping things up, let me know what you guys think about the style of the new X7, and let me know what you think about this color, but I think this color pops. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you can see really nice leather trim all throughout with all of the stitching, and then you can see with the ambient lighting as well. And then right here, we've got all of our controls here for like the sunshades, window control, all that normal stuff, and really nice looking speakers here for the sound system. And look at these seats. I love the design here in the center of the seat. I think that's really cool. And of course, it's power adjustable, which also adds to the luxury. Now, legroom back here is really good. We've got a storage pocket, and then you guys can see a little kind of like charging port area hidden behind that. And yes, we do have ventilation back here, which is important. More in the center as well. And then we have our own climate zone. We also happen to have heated seats here in the back. And I like these armrests. I will say though, like this has captain chairs, and the center divide here is pretty small. Now, just like most crossovers in this segment, the third row is a little bit more cramped with the legroom. More of like a kid-friendly third row rather than an adult-friendly third row. And then you guys can see the controls here to move the seats. I will say they've done a really good job with materials back here. Like, it's soft touch at the top and just really nice stitching. You even have ambient lighting here in the back. Got like our own cup holder as well. So they've done a great job with that. And the seats, you know, they didn't cheap out on them. They look really nice here in the back as well. And then you guys can see here with the lights up top. And then we have our own climate zone here in the third row. We also have heated seats back here. We even have our own sunroof as well. And I almost forgot to mention, headroom back here is pretty decent. I mean, I'm almost touching the top, but I do have a few inches. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, really nice leather trim, just like what you have in the rear. And then we've got ambient lighting yet again, more speaker action. All of our window controls here for the front and the back. And then also you can do some sunshade stuff up front as well. You've got your mirror adjustments. You can power fold in the mirrors. And then we've got our memory seat function here. And then you guys can see the seat adjustments there for the rear. We also have a massage seat function, which is another nice feature. And then we've got blind spot monitoring with the mirrors too. Now here's a quick look at the front seats. Again, similar design as what you have in the back. And then we've got all of our adjustments here on the side. And then we've got our pedal layout here at the bottom. And then you guys can see here with like the light controls, for example. And yeah, I love the look of the vent. That's pretty cool. Steering wheel is power adjustable. So taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice trim all around. I like how even the airbag cover has some nice stitching and all of that. M logo here at the bottom. Paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. And then we've got some controls for like your voice command controls, phone controls. We got our cruise control there on the other side. And then your regular stocks there on the back. So quick side note, sorry about the glare on this shot. It's just the time of day and year that it is. There's gonna be glare on screens. Anyways, you guys can see the look of the gauge cluster. I think it's really cool. Kind of has like a futuristic type vibe to it. And then if I change the drive modes like to sport mode, notice how it gets like red and aggressive. That's comfort. That's your Eco Pro mode. So it's just cool how it changes depending on the drive mode that you set it in. So we've got this 360 camera here. So first off, trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. I'd say resolution's really good with the camera system overall. And of course, we also have the backup assistant as well, which is another nice feature. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is BMW's newer unit. And so we have the app tab, which has just so many different things built into one little screen right there, as you can see. But overall, response time of the infotainment system is great. It's easy to use. It's always easy to access the climate menu. So I'd say it's a win. I really like this trim here on the vents. I don't know if it's going to pop up on a camera very well. And then notice that goes over to the X7. And then you got some wood trim right there, and then you can see the leather trim on the dash here at the top. And then you got your volume control here. That's for the hazard lights, and then also for some stuff for the climate. And then you can see here, nice wood trim. This covers up the wireless phone charging pad, some cup holder action. The cup holders are heated and cooled. You just press those little buttons right there to actuate that. And then here is the control stack for the X7. So this is for the infotainment system. If you don't want to use a touchscreen, this is your shifter. So this little like crystal tab that you just basically pull backwards and forwards. And then you got stuff like stability control, parking sensors, and then your engine stop, start. And then all of your drive modes are right here. Hill descent control, auto hold, parking brake. And then this is for the suspension to raise and lower it. I will say like the feel on the controls is really nice. And then right behind that, we've got the center console, USB action. Really nice trim here on the top as well. And speaking of storage, glove box. It's big. It's got like a nice metallic handle. And then up top, we do have a panoramic sunroof. And then I don't know if it'll pop up in camera, but you can see we've got like a nice headliner here. And wow, that sun visor is chunky. That's cool. So taking a look at the window sticker here, again, 2024 X7. Base MSRP is $81,900. This has quite a few options added to it. Total MSRP is $101,780. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, and hope you can see the heads-up display. Both mirrors do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And BMW X7 away. The X7 has been, just like the new 7 Series, the sedan, has been somewhat controversial because of the styling. But like I said earlier in the video, you know, initially I was kind of like, I'm not so sure about this, and now I've grown accustomed to it. I've kind of grown to like this new style with the front end. I don't know, it's just different. I will say though, like, you definitely have to have this in particular colors. Like, I think this gray works really well. There are certain colors though where it's like, I'm not so sure about it again, but you know, with colors like this gray, I think it does work out really well. Now when it comes to driving, first off, seat comfort is really good. And also I like how I can do this with the climate system. So I have it on auto, but I can also adjust between low and very low and then higher with it. So like basically, if you have an auto, it'll always just keep the fans on until the car cools down or heats up depending on the temperature outside. But you can also make it so that like you can have the fans full blast while it's adjusting, or you can make it so it adjusts slower. So I think that's a cool feature. This drives really well. Its suspension's super comfortable, but it also, like, for a big SUV, it handles really well. So I'm trying to adjust the seat because I just realized you guys probably had a horrible viewpoint there, but you know, this should fix it a little bit. But yeah, it drives smaller than it is. Again, this is a bigger 3-row family SUV, and I wouldn't say that it's like M car levels of sporty handling, but it definitely handles quite well. So I think it's impressive what BMW's done with such a large SUV to make it handle this way. I've got the X7 in the sport mode. Yeah, that's quick. It's definitely quick. Again, this is not even like the crazy powerful sporty version. Let's see how the suspension handles over this. Yeah, damping's good. I love this little transition here on this bridge because it always helps show how good or bad damping is with the car. But yeah, no, it's quick, and so you can imagine, you know, the V8 version of this is quite crazy. I'll review that once one of those come in. But to sum things up here with the X7, the styling, you know, I do think that definitely it's gonna be one of those things where it's people are either gonna like it or not. But I think it's grown on me, the front end style, and again, especially in certain colors, I think it actually looks really good. The interior of these new BMWs, I really like it. Fit and finish is great. Interior use is really nice. Like, you've got the nice premium headliner, nice leather trim all over, and it's just it's a very premium feeling interior. So I think overall, BMW's made a really good luxury car here with the X7. It definitely does feel like a luxury vehicle, but it still is a BMW, so it still handles well. It still has a really good engine. It, like, you know, the power's great. Again, I think the best way to put this, most of these luxury SUVs in this, you know, power segment, they feel underwhelming. This doesn't. This feels very strong. So I think that's the big benefit of the BMW over some of the rivals, is that the powertrain, even though this is not the top line powertrain, it's like the entry level powertrain, feels quite strong. So and then obviously the handling dynamics, like, this is still a very comfortable vehicle, but it handles quite sporty. So let me know what you guys think.